Who do I listen to? Who do I look at? Who do I watch? Gelato as an insult? Exactly. Oh, no, gelato. I mean, that's pretty much what I experienced when I was in Italy. There was always two people on a tiny moped that was too small for them, a Vespa, and they would zip past. They were like little bumblebees, little Italian bumblebees that zip past you on these little narrow streets. And I don't know if I just remembered this incorrectly, but my memory, if it's a false memory, is just slightly hearing them talk. Like they have full conversations while they're on the Vespas, and it's all about just like spaghetti and things. And they're just zip by. Oh, the gelato, spaghetti. You're like, why? How are they both on that little thing anyway? How is that even possible? And then kids, like you're on the beach and there's kids, and kids talking in Italian is just so funny because they sound like adults talking because of their Italian-ness. That's the weirdest thing. They're like, oh, you took my toy. And it's like so passionate. And you're like, you're 7. It's like a 7-year-old giving like a Mussolini delivery to "You took my rock." It's the weirdest thing. Like it's not the same. It's not the same. Rigatoni. Oh, you ruined the ratatouille. Mamma mia, Bafanguli, El Dente. Vagina on vacation during the print sale. Vagina, she needs another makeover, by the way. She definitely needs another makeover. She's not doing well. I mean, have you seen her lately? She's in the same clothes. She's in the same tired makeup. So I feel bad for her. What changed? What is going on? Multiculturalism has failed. It has. Yeah, let's listen to Tim Pool. You know, because Tim Pool has been a defender of, you know, liberty above all, and I think he's changing a little bit, one step at a time. Don't get Austin Titilio around this guy. I mean, you could imagine Austin Titilio met Tim Pool, he would jump on his head immediately, wouldn't he? He would assault him. It would be in the news. Short Italian man with a giant beard jumps on Tim Pool's beanie, claiming he needed the power up.
The world gets so ugly. I think Pizza Hut is the best example of an ugly world. You guys remember when we were younger and you'd go to Pizza Hut and it's a family restaurant. It's got a pizza bar and a salad bar, and there was Book It, and you get your free little personal pizza. And today, Pizza Hut largely is a strip mall delivery spot. Most of the Pizza Huts that I actually see, or the ones in my area, it's attached to a big gray block, and that's all it is.
I heard this rhetoric before. While I do agree that there's a past version of McDonald's and Pizza Hut that's nostalgic, that we remember at least to be better, it's still, there's a larger issue, isn't there? A little bit of a larger issue here. It's not, I want my old consumerist life back. I want the better consumer era. That's not ultimately the problem, because that's aesthetic, which is key, right? There's an aesthetic problem. But we have to look at the problem of why aesthetics move to ugliness in the first place.
And there's many reasons as to why the world got so ugly. This is an amazing video by Sheehan Cork. It's got close to 4 million views. I want to show you some of the context in what he's saying, and I want to explain it to you as I see it. Though I'm not correct about everything, I certainly think I can add a bit to what he's describing because he is correct and the world is getting ugly. I won't bury the lead for you, my friends. I believe it is the liberal economic order playbook, the homogenization of the planet. And when you're dealing with an expanding communication network, to maximize influence, you want the lowest common denominator. So when you see that beautiful Roman architecture that we use in our governmental buildings fading away, and now the structures that are being built more likely resemble gray cubes, it's because lowest common denominator.
No, that's too simplified. The lowest common denominator at one point were Christians who argued for and lived according to a highest standard aesthetically, the life of, virtue, deontology, and the rest, where they had a high standard. So the lowest common denominator in a certain culture is a Christian at some point in time. So this is not a good, accurate critique. What the lowest common denominator is what's in question, Tim Pool. Not the lowest common denominator just automatically produces crap. No. It's the fact that the lowest common denominator in this culture is abiding by efficiency, speed, replaceability. And so there's no reason right now. The lowest common denominator, the product of liberalism, the product of classical liberalism, the product of individualism, the product of materialism, the lowest common denominator, he's right to say, at the current time, holds a purely materialistic short-term view. I was talking to Tony yesterday on the phone. We were talking about the beauty of people building cathedrals, knowing that it would be a product that they wouldn't see. They would never see the product at all. They would never see it in their lifetime. Just like a grandpa planting a tree, an olive tree for his great-great-great-grandchildren, and he'll never see the tree or the grandchildren. That's beautiful. That's a high standard. Aesthetics go the same way. You build something that's meant to last, that's reflective of something that's timeless, that will last, Christianity. It makes sense to match your aesthetics to your metaphysics. It makes sense. Now, it's completely consistent with our culture today to build gray, short-term, replaceable cubes. Why? Because the aesthetics isn't derived from something bigger. It's derivative of efficiency only. Efficiency is the God we build our items to reflect. We don't build beautiful things for efficiency. They could be efficient. A piazza could be efficient. An arch could be efficient in some sense, structurally. But that's not the only reason you're building it. You're building it to reflect, to essentially, like iconography, to mimic a window into heaven. Now, what is this a window to? The two different, right? What is this a window to? This is a window to the world. Now, I wish Tim Pool would maybe, I'm sure in his interactions with Andrew and other people, he's obviously introduced and knows about orthodoxy. I just don't think Tim Pool quite understands the level of the critique that could change when he adopts or participates in true Christianity. I'm assuming his take on this is going to be partly true, but just insufficient.
As all the world's cultures mashed together, instead of trying to actually create something that resonates with the people, they say, save the money, make it a gray block. Brutalism, as it were. Let me play some of his video for you real quick, and then I want to show you some articles and talk about it. Trump is actually pushing back. Let's roll.
But 150 years...
We'll start
views.
I want to just point out also that you can't build the aesthetics and have the world just be beautiful for no reason other than, well, I'm just going to... Well, dude, what are you going to borrow the aesthetics from? It's always going to be borrowed from a Christian paradigm. At minimum, a theistic or even a polytheistic paradigm even. Some people make that point, that even a pagan conception of aesthetics is better than a secularists.
Of like the River Thames
Here we go.
in London. Now, it's a charming place where tourists love to come. But why do they love coming here? Well, you've got
Because there's no Muslims, because it wasn't overtaken by Somalians. That's why people, past tense, loved to come to London. Not anymore.
views of iconic buildings like the Houses of Parliament and St Paul's Cathedral, but that's not all. Have a look at this. It's a typical
Yeah, brutalism doesn't equal cheap either. Yeah, that's a good point. It's not. It's something more than just the money efficiency for sure going on here.
modern lamppost.
Indeed, it's ugly.
Do you like it?
No, I don't.
Well, it does its job, but not much else. But look over here at another lamppost. It does its job and a little bit more.
A lot more.
It's details like these that
Beautiful.
help make this such a charming place to be. But these two lampposts don't just look different. They represent fundamentally different worldviews. If you want to understand any society, don't listen to what it says about itself. Look at what it creates.
Good point.
This is amazing. Look at this. Brutalist buildings. This image right here is a perfect example. This is Crown Court Scottish National Church on the left with this beautiful lamppost. It's not the best lamppost. You can see it's a bit more minimalist than the other lamppost with the cool little fish around it or whatever that was. But this building had a little bit of art to it. Although, to be completely honest, it's still actually kind of minimalist. To the right, you have a more brutalist structure. A great
They should show pictures of people, too.
block. Yeah.
London's little lanes are charming now, but 150 years ago in places like this, you'd have had whole families crammed into these tiny rooms without running water. There'd have been open cesspits spilling down the streets, and the stench of sewage boiling in the midday sun would have been unbearable. The whole city stank.
Oh, yeah, it did.
It wasn't only horrible to live in, but genuinely dangerous. See,
Look at those. Look at those Muslim ducks. Unbelievable. Even the ducks are Muslim there. Unbelievable. Alter Void, $5. A lot of things were also built in the past to show success and status. Now they just show spreadsheets. Yeah, yeah. Because like what? That's a good point, Alter Void. If you're gonna brag about building like bravado, like like a phallogocentric society builds towers and things that are masculine and sometimes literally represent dicks. And it's not in a perverse thing. It's not in a perverse way. You can't look at this from the like Owen Benjamin perspective. It's more like an expression of a patriarchy, a male erected, literally male erected society and protected. And so the question, Alter Void, is like, well, what's the status you're showing? Like, what are you showing to other people? Like, what? Like this video that he's reviewing shows a good point that if our aesthetics and how we live and what things look like are reflective of our worldview, the current worldview is showing what? What is it showing the bravado of? What? Temporality? Like what? Nothingness? Blackness? Nihilism? Oh, let's brag about our nihilism. Let's show that we have no structure, no tradition. There's nothing dogmatic. We have a non-dogmatic aesthetic. That's insane. Architecture has always been a reflection of people. Read the 9 Points of Monumentality by Siegfried Gideon. Yeah. People are noticing too. That's why you go to different places and you're like, oh, it's nice here. And you go, well, why is it nice? Well, it's homogenous usually. It's cohesive. It's like going into the Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings, right? All of the aesthetic is completely consistent with the people in that world. All of the aesthetic is reflective of that world, and it's consistent. You can't import something that's not reflective of it. It'll be that doesn't fit here kind of scenario. I don't know, like black people with beautiful blonde hair and blue eyes. Don't do that. That doesn't exist. That's an anomaly if it does. Similarly, yeah, when you look at what's being built, you can see the worldview. You could see it through what's being built. This is the greatest connection between aesthetic and worldviews. And aesthetics is one of the harder things to argue for objectivity for because of this reason. But it's one of the most influential, untalked about things in modern society, the effect that aesthetics, or the lack thereof, have on us as people.
At that point, London had a problem. It was the world's biggest city. Its population was growing every year, along with the construction of new factories.
Abby catching up on the stream. Yes, $10. Thank you, Abby. Slapping an American flag on a tank top is not what an American is. Absolutely.
And mills and dockyards. All those people and all that industry produced a lot of waste. It had to go somewhere.
It was disgusting. You need a ship, Ronnie. Austin Roberts from Australia. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Always very generous of you, sir.
Where did it go?
It did. River.
Jimbob doesn't know what nihilism is. I do know what nihilism is, Hayden. You're the guy who never calls in, right? You're an ankle biter. You're a troll. There's forms of nihilism. It all has the same outcome, though. Epistemic nihilism, like you can't know anything, or nihilism, that there's no ultimate meaning or purpose to anything in life. Either way, they all reflect the same aesthetics, the same outcome, which is garbage. You are the product, in fact, Hayden, of nihilism.
Into the Thames.
Indeed it did. And this is similar, too, in the United States. We had this with, I think it was the Cuyahoga River, which was the catalyst for the Clean Water Restoration Act. What happened was in Ohio, I don't know if it was the Cuyahoga, but I think it was in Ohio, a river burst into flames. I kid you not. And they said, how is this possible that the water, the literal river, is on fire? Well, all the chemicals being dumped into it really messed it up and made it a...
Do you know that if Tim Pool leaned into like a really sort of like conservative hair coif toupee, he would be so lovable? Like if he just leaned into it and was just like, you guys, you know what I mean? Obviously, I don't like my bald head because I'm wearing a cap. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to wear like a super normie conservative toupee that has like proper part, like a politician's part. I'm just going to run with it. I'm going to make it a meme. I'm going to sell it on t-shirts. I'm going to really I'm going to vamp it up. You guys are going to love it. I wish he did something more like that. You know what I mean? I wish I could be his like entertainment coach. Prot churches look like warehouses. Orthodox churches look beautiful. Temples glory. Yeah, well, just to be clear, you'd have to go into some of them, David James Flood. You know, the outside, admittedly, for many Orthodox churches, because that's what they have to work with, end up being repurposed office buildings. But once you go in, you can see the reflection of what's going on. So, yeah. So is London is overrun by those golem creatures, not in a literal sense? Well, maybe in a literal sense, Abby. Maybe. You know what I mean, Abby? I mean, don't be afraid to be a little bit...
gigantic saturated mess of toxic waste, which burned. And when they tried to figure out why this was, well, the issue is...
He's known for the beanie now. I know, but he could change it. He could just totally change it.
All these factories...
Like, imagine as, like I could just see him. It would work. It would totally, like, change everything. And, like, it's not even, you're not even lying about it. You just tell everybody in advance that that's what you're doing. You just have this, like, sort of, like, half Asian, half white coif hair of a guy you would trust at, you know, doing your taxes, basically.
Anytime a secular atheist attempts to correct you, point out they're appealing to an objective structure for reality, including if they're correcting you on their opinion. A subjective opinion requires the objectivity of a priori reasoning.
That's right. A priori is right. That's a good point, whoever that was. Thank you for that. $3 from CounterDocs. Tips on finding an Asian wife, please. I don't have any tips for that, you know. Because, you know, MadeByJimbob is half, so that helped. Honestly, if it was pure, it would probably be a cultural problem, honestly, if I'm speaking honestly.
just a little bit. And the snowflake doesn't blame itself for the avalanche. So they said, listen, each and every individual.
So I guess the only tip is make sure they're not that Asian. Make sure they're acting and valuing mostly an American culture. You know what I mean? That helps.
Individual action has created a tremendous problem. You know, I kind of describe it like this. If you've got a bunch of chickens that walk around and do whatever they want, they poop all over the place.
Oh no, London is falling. London Bridge is falling down, yeah.
Poop.
Brother, London Bridge is falling down. Brother. Jesus is prophet, brother.
Is into the soil and...
Cousin. London Bridge is falling down. Falling down. All right, we got another buy-in late to the game, but, you know, it's better than not. And a buy-in to the print. Thank you so much. I think that's probably the same person. Thank you so much. Send me your image ASAP, please. Send me the image MadeByJimbob at Gmail immediately for both of you people. All, 2 or 3 of you guys? The cutoff time is like now. Okay?
The grass grows greener. But what if all the chickens are in one concentrated place? They eat all the grass, they crap everywhere, it piles up, and the rain can't wash it away. To put it simply, if you have a gigantic pile of chicken crap, it takes a lot of rain to break it down and wash it away. But if you take that same pile of chicken crap and you spread it out over a long...
Stop. I thought I was verbose.
At a memorial that no one ever stops to look at.
Oh, man. Joseph Bazalgette? Bazalgette, sorry.
When Bazalgette's embankment was completed in 1870, it needed lighting, of course. And so a public competition was held to design the lamps that would line. How
beautiful is that? That's missing, public competitions. But the thing is, even if you had a public competition now, you'd get a shitstorm of people who hold a brutalist or just like an anti-traditionalist thing away from beauty. Obscure, obtuse, not ornate, just like, you know, stupid and blocky, right? Legos. I saw, what airport were we at, MadeByJimbob? Was it Nashville? Or did we come back to Colorado? Anyway, we saw a big sculpture, and it was like, you know what I mean? It was like a kid who was playing with Legos was like, well, what if we build that in the airport? And it was like aesthetically unpleasing, toy-like, not serious, not fun either, just stupid. That's a problem. Even in the competition has no standards. That's another problem culturally. Like, oh, let's have an art competition. What are the standards? No standards. You got to be explicit. You got to say, I want this to represent Christian or white European aesthetics. Something like this. You have to be clear on it. No rules, no standards. Kevlar, $10. The bagels near me built these massive camps, of course. 100+ identical ugly homes, but cheap and fast by illegals. I'm missing some streams. Did you picture with a bagel on a Segway? Oh, dude, is that that was you, right? God bless you. Kevlar, you just opened up something for next year, which is getting people to buy in to the print, but I have to put whatever they suggest, not just their face. That made me laugh so much. The Hasidic bagel on a Segway holding bagels. So good. Thank you for that. That just warmed my heart and made me giggle. Absolutely. Scribs, $2. We need a green screen Tim Pool costume hairdo. Yeah, seriously.
New promenade. This was the winning design featuring these peculiar creatures. It's a little much, perhaps. But what's clear is that the Victorians took great pride.
Yeah, who are the judges too, Finney? Exactly. Who are the judges? Bunch of blue-haired dummies? That's who's judging video games right now. That's who's determining what's going into video games. Horrible judge. We have horrible judges. We actually have horrible judges, actually judges, in our justice system. They're like, well, we need to let the black man out who should be literally in a cage. Just give him a chance because he's had a difficult hand. Murders someone on a train. Murders someone, stabs someone to death on a bus. But slavery. But slavery, Jimbob.
In their embankment.
Abby Zong, another 10. Best chat on YouTube.
I
Thank
thought it
you.
needed appropriately grand and dramatic
It is quite funny
decoration.
here.
See, these lamps were among the first public electric lighting in the world. This was a radical, revolutionary new technology.
It's amazing he's making this argument with that hair. You know, I kind of want to clean him up a little bit. I have nothing against long hair. There might be a time in the future when I'm deeper into orthodoxy in my spiritual life where it warrants a Nazarene hue. I mean, I've done it before. I mean, I could definitely pull it off. But did you ever see the Black Power sculpture in New Orleans? Yeah. You can't look at it without invoking Spaceballs. Yeah, it's horrible, dude. I just watched, you know what I just watched last night? I watched Idiocracy. I only watched that once before, and I was just like, wow. This is so true, but all for the reasons people don't understand. Most people. Like the liberals think Idiocracy is about the future, and it's always like, oh, it's the mocking the stupid people, and the stupid people are clearly the Christian people. Well, no. Idiocracy is a perfect example of the opposite.
Crowds literally gathered to watch them be lit up for the first time. What the iPhone was in 2007, these lamps were in 1870. But looking at it now, you wouldn't know that.
Isn't that sad? The great victories of our cultures and our societies are roots from where we come from. You wouldn't know that. This is a great video, and it is terrifying. A story that I like to mention is how I went to the Bahamas for the first time. I was on a cruise, and we were supposed to go to the cruise.
Who would ever go on a cruise? I would never go on a cruise. Never. Being locked on a giant ship. Oh, man, just total panic for me. It's not even about drowning. It's not even, that's something, but like, that's unlikely. It's just that you're just stuck on this, like, just this contrived object thing. You're just like, what is this? This is a mall in the ocean. Why would, I don't even want to go to the mall. The mall is like, I have to go to the mall. It's like, all right, we'll go to the mall. I'll get a pretzel, shitty pretzel and a Cinnabon. I'll just eat things I shouldn't at the mall. It's like, oh, well, I have a really good idea. What if the mall was a mall and an amusement park and a bar and a restaurant, but it was in the ocean? That is the worst idea ever.
Cruise there's a private island the cruise would stop at, and there was like a buffet.
A Haitian buffet? Was it called Epstein Island? What are you telling us?
And food, and you'd go on the beach in little huts or whatever, and we're supposed to be there for a few hours, but
Stuck on a ship with a bunch of neutrals? Yeah, seriously.
unfortunately a storm came in. And so the cruise is a standard cruise ship. I don't know which company it was, but like, fairly standard thing. They said, okay, we're gonna dock at Nassau instead in the Bahamas. And I said, okay, this will be cool. The Bahamas, hey, right?
In Idiocracy, Costco, yeah, totally. Yeah, it's basically what church is today for people.
I'm going to go there and have some local fare. So in the ship dock, they said, you have several hours to go out and do your thing, but make sure you're back before this time or we will leave without you. And when I got off the cruise ship to go walk around a bit, kind of dangerous to be completely honest, but what do I care? Young man, right? What did I find? Starbucks, Gucci, Hard Rock Cafe, McDonald's. Mm-hmm. And I was sickened by it.
Exactly. This is exactly what I was talking about in my opener. Like, spreading individualism and liberal democracy and all this garbage, right? Constitutional republic and all this stuff. It's just like perfect for the corporate view. Because look, it's really simple. The equation is very simple. If you value liberty above all, you by default value individualism, because that's what ends up being liberty, is individualism. Now, if you value individualism as a result of valuing liberty above all, you also value a society that caters to individual preferences and wants and needs. Now, a society that prioritizes people's preferences and wants and needs is perfectly suited for a corporate run aesthetic, right? The function of the society is just consumerism. There's nothing beyond that. You just go, okay, well, if we spread individualism and liberal democracy, then the corporations go, cool, let's plant the things that people want, which is just crap, like sludge, right? Just give people what they want. That makes sense. But in places that are more authoritarian, you actually can't do that, can you? And the classical liberal whines and say, oh, that's terrible. You live in an authoritarian society. And you go, yeah, but it's beautiful. And let's say they even said yes to a McDonald's. There would at least be a standard for that McDonald's. That would be a higher standard than what you would see in Minnesota or something like this. Even that. But this is the problem. This is the fundamental problem, is that individualism entails a type of aesthetic that can only be dictated by pure delivery of items and goods to people, because you're just catering to their desires and wants. Well, a Christian aesthetic would be different, because a Christian aesthetic isn't informed by people's individual wants. It's informed by our duty, one of which is beautification. That you can take a place and make it holy, that you can take a place that was otherwise or previously used for even child sacrifice can be consecrated and made beautiful and whole. That's beautiful. That's Christianity. A healing process. And so if you don't have that, what do you have? Well, you just have McDonald's.
I don't care about those things. I have McDonald's down the street. I have Starbucks across the street. I don't travel on a cruise ship to...
Christopher says, I felt the same, but I got an all-you-can-drink pack, and it's fun to just explore the ship. I guess. That sounds horrifying to me, Christopher. It sounds horrifying to be, especially being drunk on a ship and you can't leave. And you have that panic moment when you just see everybody. And you're like, oh, what are they? I would just end up doing a panic live stream.
To a Caribbean island so that I can go to McDonald's. Unfortunately, my friends, this is global homogenization. And so, if they figure out what works, why change it? The sad reality is, this is not just about the architecture that we have, the buildings that we see, although it is apparent in the structures, and as Sheehan points out, hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, lampposts, but in our movies. Take, for instance, Groundhog Day. It's a classic.
Wait a second. Why is he saying her? Didn't he just say her movies? Don't tell me he's doing this coverage of this person, and this person with a beard and a coif right here is a woman, and he's calling her. Is that what's happening right now? Are you rage baiting me? Am I losing my mind here? Hold on a second. What? Wait a second. What?
Hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
Oh, your name. Okay.
But in our movie.
Okay. Wait. He said her. What the hell's going on?
About the architecture that we have, the buildings that we see, although it is apparent in the structures, and as Sheehan points out, hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, lampposts, but in our movies.
In her movies? Maybe he just made a mistake. Maybe his brain said the name Sheehan and thought the pronoun she and then said her. I don't understand. Maybe his hat's too tight.
Take, for instance, Groundhog Day. It's a classic.
It's a strong, brave, independent woman.
How much?
Gola, 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 gola. Oh, Tatilio. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, spaghetti.
How much money did Groundhog Day...
Our movies? I don't know. They's movies?
Let's pull up Groundhog Day's Wikipedia entry. 1993 film. An amazing, amazing success. At a $14 to $30 million budget, which is fairly big. They pulled in $105 million at the box office. Now, I'm sure most of you know the film Groundhog Day because it's considered to be like one of the best movies ever made. It is universally praised. It's, I don't know, on par with Back to the Future. Let's pull up Back to the Future. Back to the Future, 1985. I didn't even exist when this film was made. $19 million budget, and it brought in $400 million, spawning sequels and ultimately resulting in the creation of Rick and Morty, believe it or not, which was a parody of Back to the Future.
Yeah, it was originally called Doc and Marty, and it wasn't that good, honestly. The original Justin Roiland conception, without the other degen guy, Dan something, would have definitely not gotten to where it is now. Which shows that, sometimes you make something and it does take another helper, another vision to elevate it. And sometimes not.
Why do I bring this up? They're not going to make Groundhog Day ever again. And if they do, I mean, to be honest, they might, but it's not going to make any money. No one's going to share the idea. Why? Well, we used to have a shared culture. We had a monoculture here in the United States. And that meant we all focused on similar things. We believed similar
Well, now, Rick and Morty is totally played out. Like, there was a couple of seasons that I liked it because I liked just the conception of, like, all the ridiculous things. But almost every episode is some sort of, like, what's that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio? Inception. There's always, like, some Inception. And I honestly think that and Black Mirror, it's like, it's gotten to the level where it's a parody now, where it's like the ultimate cop-out is that everything that just happened actually didn't happen, and it happened in another person's mind in another universe. It's like, how many times can you do that? How many times can you deny objective reality as a goof? It's like we're done with it, right? I think we're now at the point where we want the new golden age of art and comedy, humor and movies and stories. We want it to be grounded explicitly in reality. Even if it's fantasy, the best fantasy is still grounded in objective reality. It's reflective of something objectively true. The universals are true. A man is a man, a woman is a woman. The basics. There's a representative body of people that represent the Jews. You got to put that into your fantasy or it doesn't make sense. Okay?
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
It's true. I lost my job for misgendering someone at work. Oh, wow. Counterdox. It's seriously hard not to do that when they dress like a goofy. It's unbelievable, dude. I mean, we got to just take this culture over, We gotta send these people back into the darkness where they belong. Not running HR departments. What does it take? I don't know. Maybe nepotism. Maybe it's full nepotism. Maybe it's full discrimination. You only hire Christian people. You only hire people who understand reality. I mean, it's like terrible counterdox and also probably a blessing. Work or create a job for yourself where you're not subject to such lunacy.
things. We appreciated similar things. Unfortunately, we don't anymore. Multiculturalism has destroyed this. You see, if we were to make a Groundhog Day movie, do you think the Muslim community of Dearborn is going to resonate with the idea of small town Indiana? Where were they in that movie? They're in Puxatawney. They're in the actual, yeah. Let me. I'll just
Pennsylvania.
I have it pulled up right here. They're in what is it? Puxatawney, right in Pennsylvania. I was like, was it Ohio or Pennsylvania? And are they going to resonate with the pulling up of the groundhog and, letting him see his shadow, this hokey tradition? No. It doesn't matter to the Indian H-1B immigrants. It doesn't matter to the Muslims. It doesn't matter to the Chinese, the Koreans, or the Latinos, the Honduran farmers. So when you make a movie about an American tradition, heritage Americans, as they say.
See, this is more fence-sitting from him, okay? He's understanding this quite fine, right? Isn't he? He's kind of grasping this problem of multiculturalism as a machete, right? A machete to the homeless. Multiculturalism. Here's a machete. Kill your heritage. Kill everything about your society. Here's a machete. Okay? He understands it. But the problem is what he doesn't seem to understand, or at least he's, he's failing on purpose to understand. I don't know which it is. I don't know him. But he's not seeing multiculturalism as a symptom, an available route. It's an available route. Why is it available? Okay? People are asking the wrong questions here. Yes, obviously multiculturalism is a disaster. And then you go, well, what's the problem? Then it would be like immigration. No. There's a bigger problem here. You can't just keep pointing to another symptom and calling that the cause. You can't just point out, you can't just be considered base, Tim Pool, by saying multiculturalism doesn't work. That's not enough. You're going to have to take a more rigid approach. You're going to have to narrow your position. Tim. You can't fence sit anymore, okay? You can't sit on the fence and going, look, multiculturalism really bad. Look, I want to maintain individualism and liberty, justice for all. That's the American dream. Nope. Nope. You can't have both because they're one and the same. Protecting liberalism, individualism, the conception, the Enlightenment conception of America, at least what it's turned into, because it wasn't rigid enough. The entailment is multiculturalism. Do you understand? He's going to pretend multiculturalism is like this thing that exists in a vacuum, or at least is like downstream from progressives and immigration policies only. Like that's the problem. It's not, dude. It's not. It's totally consistent with the individualist conception of reality. It's just like, it's totally consistent. This is what you get. This is what you bought. Counterdocs, $10. My whole career was dedicated to bettering school environments for BH communities. Sucks at times, but it's very rewarding. Apparently, MG'd. Someone still don't know what it is. Well, you'll find another place, dude. I mean, honestly, the education system in America, I guess this is true for everything we're doing. Trying to reform the public school system away from where it's at now is equivalent to standing on a beach and looking at an endless shoreline of baby turtles. And the baby turtles are the kids. And you're 1 by 1, maybe 10 by 10, picking up these turtles and throwing them deep into the ocean so that they aren't killed by blue-haired trans people. Blue-haired trans seagulls. And you know, when you look down the shoreline, that you can't actually see the end of the shoreline. You know that your entire life might be used to throw one turtle at a time back into the ocean. And you know you'll never do it. I like turtles, but that's okay. That's basically what a Christian life is. I mean, it's at least reflective of it, is that we live a life trying to align ourselves with Christ. In our pursuit, in our theosis, we know we can't match, but we try. We just keep going. We just keep getting up and trying, and that's the cross, right? So, you've been eliminated from one situation, one job because of something insane, and maybe you'll find another place, and guess what? There's going to be a new insane thing you're going to have to confront.
Say, well, they'll appreciate it. Now, they may make a movie like Groundhog Day. It'll pop up on Netflix. It'll be in its trending category at number 6 or 7, but it's never going to be like it was. They can make Marvel movies where people enjoy the big explosions. Transformers. Here's what's happened. It's called the lowest common denominator.
See, no, this is stop. Just, okay. I don't know how much more I can listen to this. No, Tim. He wants to make it like it's this mathematical thing. No, dude. No. That's stupid. That's like it's so... I often am someone who appeals to reductions. I like reductions. Reductions are most of the time they produce really harsh, sharp truths about reality. But this isn't it. Dude, this is not it. This whole it's just the lowest common denominator. No. This gets him out of the Christian paradigm. If he can assess this problem and just say, well, it's a mathematical distinction of the lowest common denominator. No, that's not getting to the core of it, dude. You're not being pushed to get to the core of it. This is a cop-out. This is so you can stay neutral. This is weak.
Culture. In order to attract as many people as possible, they have to reduce a product down to its bare minimum. For example, you take a look at these gag shows on YouTube. There's a viral channel. Let me see if I can pull this one up. Just for Laughs Gags. They're pretty funny videos. It's a reality.
Just so you know, I'm not rejecting this concept of lowest common denominator, race to the bottom. That's a real thing. So I'm not negating that in Tim's assessment. What I'm saying is that what the lowest common denominator is made of is a different question. That's the root question here. Why is it the lowest common denominator is purely consumerist, based on efficiency, convenience, no duties, no cross to bear, not Christian? Why, who is the lowest common denominator and why? He's like, no, lowest common denominator. No.
Reality show going back to the 2000s, and I think it's Canadian. Newest videos just for laughs, gags. I'm going to pull up one of these so I can show you with 14 million subscribers. That's a lot of subscribers, my friends, and a lot of money. So let's see what we have.
Calm down.
Absolutely unhinged pranks. Let's grab this one and play this video.
As if Tim Pool, no offense to you, as if you don't appeal to a lowest common denominator.
And see what it is.
You know what the irony of this? The lowest common denominator for Tim Pool are people who have soft positions on authority and Christianity. That is the lowest common denominator. A soft opinion on using authority to deploy your meta-ethics on other people. That's the lowest common denominator. People who say, oh, I'm fine with what you believe, just don't take my stuff or hurt people. It's pretty simple. Be a good person. Well, that's the atheist view. That's the irony of criticizing the lowest common denominator from Tim Pool. You are the lowest common denominator. You are the fence sitter. You are the people who sit by and watch culture and Islam take over because you don't want to violate rights. I'm canceling you.